Coming up on All About Android, it's me, Jason Howell, my co-host Ron Richards, and our guest, Chiu-ki Chan, the creator and organizer of 360 and Dev. And we have a whole lot to talk about, starting, of course, with the Pixel event that happens next week. We've got tons of leaks, including something called Pixel Pass. RCS coming to iPhone. Well, if Hiroshi Lockheimer has his way, maybe someday. We aren't very optimistic on that. Saying goodbye to Hey G, but only sort of, and only in certain use cases. Google TV is getting a bunch of new features and coming to a new device. This after a year from the time that it appeared on the Chromecast with Google TV 1 year ago. And your email and a whole lot more coming up next on All About Android.
Podcasts you love
from people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by UserWay.org. UserWay ensures your website is accessible, ADA compliant, and helps your business avoid accessibility-related lawsuits. The perfect way to showcase your brand's commitment to millions of people with disabilities. It's not only the right thing to do, it's also the law. Go to userway.org/twit for 30% off UserWay's AI-powered accessibility solution. And by Udacity. Get the in-demand tech skills you need to advance your career. Visit udacity.com/twit and get 75% off any program with code TWIT75. Limited time offer. Hello and welcome to All About Android, episode 546, recorded on Tuesday, October 12th, 2021, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards. Hello.
There we go. Welcome, Ron. It's good to have you here. All of you. Good to see and hear you, and good to welcome back to the show. We were talking before the show that has been too long, and we can go ahead and blame the pandemic for that. Chiu-ki Chan, who happens to be lead Android developer, of course, also 360 and Dev organizer, and so many other things. Chiu-ki, it's great to have you back today.
Yay! So good to be back.
Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy couple of years, but we made it. We were talking also a little bit before the show. I had asked about Android Dialogue, and you had said like it's more of an in-person kind of interview show. So right now it's not happening. Is it like a hiatus? Do you expect that to come back at some point?
Well, we haven't given it much thought, to be completely honest. There's just so much going on right now. We could do like you use Zoom, and it's not necessarily something that is so different. But I think the way we have done it is when people see each other at conferences, it's a great way to just kind of catch up. And I just think that the whole vibe is very different. So we will need to think about how we want to structure it if we want to reboot it.
Yeah,
and that's totally. the best way to, like, with your thing like that. It's up to you. Like, hey, it works this way. We're gonna leave it this way. It doesn't work right now. We can revisit it. Like you know. So good for you. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Right. Everybody's kind of winging it at this point. We're getting pretty darn used to winging it. And actually, speaking of winging it, Burke, I don't know if you're prepared to wing it with the breaking news bumper, but if you happen to have it at the tip of your fingertips, go ahead and hit that button because we got some breaking news. Oh, yeah. We're throwing some breaking news in here before we even got to the news block. That's how breaking this news is. Exactly. Like literally broke 7 minutes ago, as far as I can tell from 9 to 5 Google. And was it you, Ron, who posted this? All
the credit to Scooter X in the chat room. This is why you got to watch live and be in there with the chat folks. Scooter X pointed out that we might have some breaking news related to Samsung announcing an Unpacked event on October 20th, 2021, which is in 8 days, the day after the Google event, which is promising new experiences for self-expression. And I don't know what that means, but so for our video watchers, if Burke can pull up the page in the doc, there is a video with the invite, which really makes you wonder, given everything that we've heard about Material U, and seeing this invite on here, If you scroll down, Burke, for those of you who see the video, the video invitation, and given the coziness that Samsung and Google have been having recently, I wonder if this is going to be some sort of building off of Material You kind of in the Samsung world, or it could just be Snap-on cases for your phone.
Yeah, probably going to be more than just Snap-on cases for your phone.
Yeah.
Interesting though to me that now with this announcement, with Samsung's Unpacked Part 2, October 20th, that makes next week like a pretty crazy week for hardware. We've got now the Apple event. The Apple hardware event is happening on Monday. Got the Pixel event, which we're going to be talking about throughout the show today on Tuesday. And then now we have the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked Part 2 event on Wednesday.
It's 3 days in a row of nonstop. Like, that's crazy.
I'm a little dizzy. Of those three things, Chiu-ki, if you had to pick just one to watch, which one would it be? I think I know your answer.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know the Samsung thing was a thing. And
yeah.
To watch an Apple event, I have to boot up Safari, which I always forget. It's almost like opening my Chrome, and then I was like, wait, nothing works. Oh, right. Gotta use Safari.
That's a punishment, really, to have to use Safari.
And of course, I never update or anything, so I have no idea, what version it is.
Yeah.
Does it even work? But yeah, so it's going to be the Pixel event if I have to watch one.
I think that would be the one that I would pick two of the three. But I
don't know. Honestly, I may pick the Samsung one because we know what's coming in the Pixel one, right? We already know about the phone, right?
We may think we know.
True.
Maybe.
I mean, there is promise for surprise, but I gotta say that little invite video with that little assembly line of colored bricks has got me very curious about what Samsung has up their sleeve.
Yeah. So, so Ben Schoen, friend of the show, is kind of running through the possibilities. Samsung Galaxy S21 Fan Edition is one that we kind of expected, but then at some point it was reported that it was going to be delayed until January. Maybe that's actually going to happen sooner rather than later. After all, could be the Tab S8 lineup. I don't know. That actually makes a lot of sense. The Tab S8, I could see that being the thing, and the Fan Edition, both of those. So I don't know if it's not a marquee announcement. Let's just say that. Like, it's not. You're not going to find a new addition to their foldable family, or maybe you will. Who the heck knows? But I highly doubt you're going to find anything there. But anyways, thank you, Scooter X in chat, for giving us a breaking news opportunity. And that's just a little warm up, because now we're going to jump into the non-breaking but still news.
Today, I'd like to do a dramatic reading of a quote. It's kind of hard to come up with something witty to say about Android TV.
Okay. That's pretty dramatic.
Luckily, it's so dramatic because we're not talking about Android TV, Burke. We're talking about Google TV. So,
that was burn.
Which is our first news story today. I don't know if Jason, I feel like every other week we're talking about updates to Google TV. Like, it looks like Google is constantly updating Google TV, almost as if they're working towards something.
Some energy behind it. Yeah, you're right.
Seems like it. But so the latest new features for Google TV include multi-user profile support. So many users can log into their own accounts on the same TV, which is cool because if you log into HBO Max or Disney Plus and Netflix, you can choose, viewer profiles of who's watching in the room. But it'd be nice to have that be for Google TV. So if you're watching, you log into your profile, I get my recommendations, I don't get yours, that sort of thing. Could be pretty cool. Also, glanceable cards coming to the ambient mode with expanded information like game scores, weather, news, etc. Very home hub kind of style. Cards also include quick shortcuts of things like starting a music playlist or slideshow of photos. So that's pretty neat. And coming to Chromecast with Google TV and other devices, one of which we're going to discuss in hardware. So that's what we call a tease in the business. But I love my Chromecast with Google TV. It's great. I'm enjoying the updates they're doing. Chiu-ki, have you gotten to play with the new Google TV platform that rolled out recently? Or
No, not really. I've only played with the really, 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 really early developer version, which is full of bugs, and haven't really gone back since. So kind of interesting to see what else is coming.
I do like it. I do. What they've done with it has really made it like, a compelling platform that honestly made me move for my NVIDIA Shield, which I loved.
Well, see, and now NVIDIA Shield is the set-top box that we have downstairs still. I don't have the Chromecast with Google TV. And I have what appears like they updated the NVIDIA Shield to look like Google TV, but it's not. Like, there is a difference between Google TV that you get on the Chromecast with Google TV and then the Android TV that's skinned to look a lot like Google TV that you get on the NVIDIA Shield and a lot of these other devices. So I guess to that end, I haven't had a whole lot of like direct experience aside from, actually, I do remember with Hands on Android, when that was still a show, doing an episode where you could flash Google TV as it was like extracted from the Chromecast with Google TV onto the NVIDIA Shield. But at a certain point, I ended up wiping that out and starting fresh because it was doing some funky stuff eventually. But so I guess I played around with it a little bit, but I'm excited to see more of, kind of more of that be built out, more of the feature set be expanded upon. And, I like the look of it. It looks fresh, which, I mean, a lot of what Google's doing right now with their UI approach on their hardware is kind of going through this like fresh kind of redesign. I mean, Android 12 is, the epitome of that right now. So, I'm interested in that. Looking forward to that. But it sounds like you're the one, Ron, with the actual device, so you'll probably reap the benefits.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can't wait.
Before anyone on the show.
All the updates they've made, the improved recommendations, like the stuff that we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks, like it's a noticeable difference. It is a very pleasant experience. My only complaint about it is that in the Google TV app and also on Google TV via the TV, there is a watch list, right? Like on the Google TV app, it's actually one of the main sections. You go and you can add things to your watch list. When you go to watch TV, that list syncs, but the watch list is all the way down at the bottom underneath all of the curated and promoted stuff, right? And I feel like that could go up a little higher, in my opinion. But
reposition that up there, or at least have the ability to kind of be flexible with that from a user perspective. Maybe I want it up there, maybe you want it down below or whatever. Yeah. So this is very interesting. We're going to be talking about Google's upcoming Pixel event a little bit later in hardware. So it's like sprinkled about throughout this episode. But for now, this was kind of interesting. Something called Pixel Pass, which I feel like we heard some news about this, some like leaked news about this early, like months ago. I feel like I can't remember who the source was, but I remember hearing something about a Pixel Pass sort of thing. And now friend of the show, Brandon Lee, published a leaked image that seems to reference all the details around Pixel Pass. We can kind of assume that this is something that's going to be announced at next week's hardware event. But I mean, there's no guarantees. It's a monthly subscription fee. We don't actually at this point know what that fee is. So that's definitely an important factor that's as yet undecided or undetermined, unannounced, whatever. A single subscription fee for YouTube Premium, Google One, Play Pass, and then it also includes an extended warranty. It's kind of similar in some ways to Apple's iPhone upgrade program that they sell. Based on the graphic, which if you're watching the video version, you can see right now, it would be sold via Google Fi, or also, if you're not a Fi subscriber, you could buy it through the Google Store when you're purchasing a Pixel device that's unlocked to work on a different carrier. So it is possible, you aren't locked into Google Fi in order to do this, according to this leak. If you're buying through the Google Store, though, it does point out that you're required to apply for financing. So financing is tied to this. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I guess it's a monthly fee. I don't know how that would be different, but anyways, I'm kind of hoping like I'm curious to know if this has something to do with like paying a monthly fee for the hardware as well. Cause if I'm not mistaken, is that how the Apple program works? They have their program called Apple One, anywhere between $15 to $30 a month. And that includes a number of services, but then I also think that it includes a regular, like, yearly upgrade to the next hardware, whatever the next iPhone hardware is. And I'm trying to figure out, I mean, based on what we actually know, which is not everything, if that applies here too. If it's truly a subscription service that gets you all of those services, but then also every year you end up getting the new Pixel. I don't know. There's a lot unknown as of yet. But what do you, like? Does this appeal to either of you right now, based on what I'm spelling out right now, or is this kind of unnecessary? Or I don't know. What do you think, Chiu-ki? Are these services that you use right now, and would this be appealing to you?
Yeah, that was exactly my question for other people as well, because I only use Google Fi out of all of those things.
Oh, okay.
Well, I had a Google One subscription for a year or two when I was doing a lot more video, and I want, it's basically a place to upload the video somewhere so that when my partner can download it, right? So, so Google One is kind of nice in that you get a lot more storage, but I don't really do any YouTube Premium thing. I don't even know what the Play Pass does. Like, does that give you app downloads, or what does that even do?
Yeah. So Play Pass would be most comparable to Apple Arcade, even though they're actually not quite the same. Play Pass is like a monthly subscription. Flo was actually, for
she loved it.
2 years. She loved Play Pass, partially because she got, she signed up in the beginning and it was heavily discounted in the beginning. And then once it went up, I can't remember if she kept it. But basically, it's like a fee that you pay on a monthly basis, and it gives you access to this large library of apps and games that otherwise you'd be paying for. All in-app purchases are removed. So it's like you get the premium version of all of these supported apps and games by paying just a monthly fee. And, I think at the end of the day, the value of that is if you look at the list and you see the apps you actually care about on the list, then it's probably more valuable than if there are a bunch of apps and games you don't care about.
Gotcha. It's like a bundle purchase of. It's almost like those subscription boxes, like cheese boxes, right? Like
right.
You pay a fee, and then every month you get some variety of cheese, and you hope you like them. It feels like that, except it's apps.
Yes, except every month you get the same cheese you already got and a couple of new pieces of cheese.
Okay.
So it's like you keep getting more and more cheese.
Factor, I think. Yes. The same cheese. All right.
At the end of each month, you've got a mountain of cheese with new ones.
Yeah, I'm not sure that appeals to me. Like the same cheese every month. But and then like the device part, I am definitely not interested in a just kind of blind faith in getting the new device, and that will suit me. Because I feel like I have small hands. That's like a major problem, right? Like sometimes they will have this top of the line device, and like my thumb cannot reach the back button when I try to use it with one hand. So like I'm pretty picky about the form factor, mostly because if I can't use it with one hand, that severely limit how I interact with my phone. So no, I don't have blind faith in just a hardware subscription program. That does not sound very nice to me.
Yeah.
It's funny because these sort of things, my immediate reaction is nope. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be beholden to a monthly subscription service for some level of service that it's got to be giving me a lot of perceived value. I do pay for Google One, but that's because I ran out of storage on my oldest Gmail account, right?
Yeah.
And I had to, like we said, Flo loves Play Pass. I don't play enough games in order to do it. I never go for the extended warranty at Best Buy or whatever when you buy something. It's like, do you want protection? I'm like, no, I don't. It's like buyer beware. Something breaks, I'll deal with it. It's got a manufacturer warranty. That should be enough. But it's interesting that they are like I never purchased through the Google Store's financing service, and it's interesting that they're requiring this in order to do that. And so if people who depend on that financing in order to get their new device, now they're getting, like, we all know the future is subscription services, and it says microtransactions and everything's a subscription service. And if this is Google's way of forcing a bunch of customers into doing that, I don't know how I feel about that, but I get it from a business standpoint. So,
I mean, I kind of wish that there was a services only bundle, you know. Now, mind you, this is all a leak. Maybe there is. Maybe we'll find out about that, you know, next week. Any of this could change, but like when I think about what I'm paying for right now, I've got a Google One. You know, I think right now it's 200 gigs of storage, so it's like $299 a month. Not the end of the world. We're paying for YouTube Music, so I've got that family plan. YouTube Music, that includes YouTube Premium. So right there, we've got a couple of these things, but. I mean, that's just like 2 out of 4, right? The Play Pass, I don't really care that much about. Extended warranty, great, I guess, if it's included, but I'm not paying extra because I want it. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see how this lands as far as that's concerned. You know, if the price is compelling, if it's $1 or $2 more than what I'm already paying combined between Google One and YouTube Premium, and I get these other things, then okay, you know, maybe that actually makes sense. But only if it's a subscriptions bundle. I'm probably not going to, you know, finance my phone. Like I don't do that, and I'm not going to do that. So
agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. It's great. It's been a while since we had Chiu-ki on the show, which is awesome, and it's also been a while since we've had another friend of the show on. But to intro him, you know, we've talked on the show a lot, hoping that Apple might someday support RCS on the iPhone. But now our friend of the show, Google SVP Hiroshi Lockheimer, has been tweeting about it. In fact, in response to a story about pro golfer Bryson DeChambeau's green bubble breaking iMessage group chats, Hiroshi tweeted, and I quote, "Oh, here's Hiroshi. Hello, for our video viewers, you can see our good friend Hiroshi."
Welcome back, Hiroshi.
And Hiroshi says, "Group chats don't need to break this way. There exists a really clear solution." Capitalized RCS. Here's an open invitation to the folks who can make this right. We are here to help. Unsurprisingly, Apple is still very quiet on its intentions around supporting RCS. But good on you, Hiroshi, for bringing it to Cupertino. I like it. I like Hiroshi.
Yeah.
So, Chiu-ki, what do you think of the RCS rollout in general, and does it, you know, like, are you using RCS? Have you noticed it? Does it not even impact you, or?
Well, I don't really do anything with text messaging in terms of like developing. I do use text messaging, and I do have friends that are on the Apple side of things, which. They like to use this feature where they like a message, but then it comes through Android as Judy liked blah, 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 and then repeats the whole message.
Right. Oh, I hate it. Hate that.
And yes, it is very irksome. And I don't see, to be honest, Apple jumping in and say, Chiu-ki is annoyed by this liking business. Let's get onto RCS and standardize a way to have rich communication so that you don't have to verbosely spell out what the other side did. Because in this group chat, or group text, I suppose, there are many iPhone users, so they didn't even notice that this is a very strange behavior on the Android side. And Apple's happy for that to be hidden from their walled garden. So I'm not optimistic that we will ever have a standard that will be used everywhere so that I don't have to see those spelled out messages. It took me a while to figure out. I was like, why is Judy typing all these things? But no, she didn't type all that.
Yeah, she's retyping verbatim everything you sent with liked at the front of it. That's funny. Man, anytime I have to I have to type for like 20 seconds just to reply. This is really annoying.
It's very exhausting. It's very.
There should be a better way.
No, but I agree is that like I don't see Apple changing, and I feel like a broken record every time we talk about this, but it's, you know, it's user hostile behavior. It's, you know, like the world should be on a unified messaging platform, and It should end like there's no reason not to. RCS is clearly, you have the carriers adopting it. You have, multiple manufacturers adopting it. Imagine the goodwill that Apple could do if they did it, but they just don't see the forest for the trees. So it's disappointing. So
yeah.
I'm just happy that sorry.
Go for it. No, go.
I'm just happy that email existed before this whole platform split. Can you imagine if when we email people, there's all this verboseness that get like added in because of platform differences? That would be so annoying.
Yeah, very annoying. Very annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm holding out hope that at some point there is enough market pressure that Apple feels like kind of understands a little bit about what you're saying, Ron, as far as like user hostile, and not like that Apple would suddenly care about Android users, because I'm not necessarily thinking that, but that Apple would care about just people in general wanting to communicate better. And I don't know, maybe that's a rose tinted goggles way of looking at it. But I mean, at a certain point, if RCS is so incredibly supported that everybody on Android, is compatible and communicating through RCS, and Apple's still there like, nope, not going to do it. I don't know. At a certain point, they could be seen as like being very like person hostile. But
they care? I don't know if they care. One word for you: hubris. That's
hubris.
What it is.
Oh yeah, that's a good word.
It's 100%. It is that Apple hubris, and I know that we've gotten flack from some of the audience, stuff like that, for Apple bashing, whatever it is. And I'm on a Mac right now. I don't hate Apple. Like, I have a Mac Mini right in front of me. My wife has an iPhone. There are Apple products in my household. I'm not like completely hating of it. There's a great legacy. It is my Apple II Plus was one of my favorite computers of my entire life. I had so much fun on my Apple II GS. Right. I my first MacBook Pro when I moved to San Francisco in the Web 2.0 days, Jason, right, blew my mind and opened so many doors. But the hubris of this company over the past couple of years, specifically when it comes into the mobile devices space and the competitive landscape, is just like, I don't know. It's just I've seen the movies, I've read the books, I know the Steve Jobs philosophy, the closed system, and all that nonsense. But like, open up and look at the world and look at what's going on and look at the opportunity and like the global connections, and imagine if we went in, not to get a little political, but or not political, but realistic, but if we found ourselves in another pandemic when everybody was on a similar platform and we can handle messaging so much better in a more elegant way, think of what the possibilities could have been. So
Yeah.
And I didn't just blame the pandemic on Apple's green chat bubbles, by the way. I'm just saying.
I'm sure we'll get that one email.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's take a break and thank the sponsor, and then we will get into some hardware news coming up. But first, this episode of All About Android is brought to you by UserWay.org. UserWay is awesome. We've talked so many times on this show about accessibility and just the need to increase the ability for our systems to be accessible, to be more clear in how they communicate for everyone, instead of just for people who can see, who can hear. UserWay is kind of the bridge to get there, and it's really amazing. They've got a vision that's all about connecting people to every website without exception. They need to be accessible because it's a public entity and because it's the right thing to do. UserWay has an awesome AI-powered solution. It tirelessly enforces the hundreds of WCAG guidelines with just one single line of JavaScript. So that's one big advantage right there. It's just easy to drop it in. UserWay can achieve more than an entire team of developers. And that's going to make your website accessible without something like UserWay. This is a very overwhelming thing to do, but UserWay's solution, that single line of JavaScript, makes it simple, makes it easy, it's cost effective, and they actually have a free scanning tool on their website, and you can use that to see if your own website is ADA compliant. UserWay's AI and machine learning solutions power accessibility for over 1 million websites. It's trusted by Coca-Cola, Disney, eBay, FedEx, many other leading brands as well. And now UserWay is making its best-in-class enterprise-level accessibility tools available to small and medium-sized businesses. So operating an accessible, compliant website, like I said earlier, it's not only the right thing to do, it also makes business sense. This means that millions of people are going to be able to reach your product, and UserWay is going to be the conduit. It's going to be the bridge that takes them there. Just to be able to see your product and purchase your product, you're going to be missing out without that kind of accessibility. And when you need to scale as well, you need UserWay. For years, UserWay has been on the cutting edge. They're creating innovative accessibility technologies that push the envelope of what's actually possible with AI, with machine learning, with computer vision. UserWay's AI automatically fixes violations at the code level. Really cool stuff. Things like auto-generating image alts. So, if you have images, it can automatically write those image descriptions for you. That's the power of AI and the analysis that's happening there. Remediates complex nav menus, which can be just a really difficult, the Achilles heel as far as challenges are concerned for companies. UserWay ensures that all pop-ups are accessible. It fixes vague link violations, fixes any broken links, ensures that your website makes use of accessible colors. And then, by the way, that's not at the expense of your brand colors and staying true to your brand. And UserWay gives you a detailed report of all the violations that were fixed on your website. So you have that report, you can point to it and understand. Maybe that informs you on how to make it better, how to improve it, or just to have that peace of mind to know that it's working behind the scenes. UserWay is platform agnostic. So WordPress, Shopify, Wix, it doesn't matter. You can easily add UserWay. And the same goes for AEM, Sitecore, SharePoint. UserWay integrates seamlessly with all of them. Just let UserWay help your business meet its compliance goals, and you'll improve the experience for your users. It's that simple. The voice of Siri, we don't talk about Siri on this show very often, but you recognize the voice, who's considered the most popular voice assistant, has a message about UserWay.
Hi, I'm Susan Bennett, the original voice of Siri. You won't hear me say something like this too often. I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're looking for. But every day, that's what the internet is like for millions of people with disabilities. UserWay fixes all of that with just one line of code.
UserWay can make any website fully accessible and ADA compliant. With UserWay, everyone who visits your site can browse seamlessly and customize it to fit their needs. It's also a perfect way to showcase your brand's commitment, which you are when you're using UserWay. You're showing your commitment to millions of people with disabilities. Go to userway.org/twit and you can get 30% off UserWay's AI-powered accessibility solution. UserWay is awesome. It's making the internet accessible for everyone. Visit userway.org/twit today. And we thank UserWay for their support of All About Android. All right, let's jump into some hardware news. It's time. Or I thought it was time.
We can wait. We'll wait for hardware. That's fine. The hardware will come to us someday. See, it's hardware worth waiting for. That's the key.
There we go. That's the tagline.
I will tell you right now, I'm seeing two trends in Android-related hardware, Jason, that we've been talking about recently. One is a focus and reliance on extended years of updates, right? Like that has become, for some reason in the past month, that has become a hot button topic. Also, I'm seeing the reemergence of the tablet business here going on. I don't know about you, but it just seems like every week we're talking about another tablet. Something in the air, talking tablets. You can see my tablet, if you're watching the video, charging behind me on my couch. But anyway, bringing the world of years of updates and new tablets together, there's a new Android tablet from, of all people, Nokia. Yep, the Nokia T20 is a $250 tablet, which is a very affordable tablet. 10.4-inch display, 2K LCD display. It's got an aluminum unibody. It's running on a Unisoc Tiger T610 chipset with 3 or 4 gig of RAM options and 32 or 64 gigabyte of storage. It's got an 8200 milliamp battery, and it ships with Android 11, right, which is as close as you're going to get on a tablet these days, with 2 years of OS updates through Android 13 and 3 years of security updates. And you can get this bad baby on November 17th. I did not know Nokia was in the tablet business. Did you, Jason?
No. I wanted to say no Kia, but that would have been a very dad joke of me to say. No,
did you know Nokia is actually finished for tablet?
What?
It's not.
Okay. Don't do that to me, Ron. No, I didn't know, but $250, not bad. I mean, that's a pretty affordable tablet offering. And Nokia, God, I feel like someone, I think it was an email someone sent in. They were like, "Hey, you should check this out." And it's a great opportunity to mention Nokia's commitment to updates. And I don't know if that person was referring to this specific commitment or Nokia's updates kind of history in general. I don't know off the top of my head how Nokia does in the long term with their updates to their devices, but 3 years is good.
Not bad. Chiu-ki, how do you feel about tablets? Are you a tablet user? Have you ever been a tablet user? Do you want a tablet? You want to borrow my tablet?
I have tablets. I don't really use it, mostly because I have many other screens at home that are bigger. So when I want something portable, I have my phone, and I want a big screen, I have my laptop or my desktop. The app is still available. So I have this app that teaches children how to write Chinese, and that is a very good experience on the tablet.
Cool.
So when I was actively developing that particular app, then yes, I use the tablet a lot, but for development issue, because basically what happened is that you can use a stylus, and then the child can write on the tablet to practice writing Chinese. And that is perfect, right? Like the phone is a bit small and you don't really write on your monitor, right? That's not really a thing. Although now there are a lot of laptops that are touchscreen. But still, for a child, like holding a tablet and writing on it, that's the perfect use case. So for me, a tablet has a pretty narrow use. And I have used it one other time, which is when we were traveling in Europe and we were doing just GPS navigation and trying to read a guidebook, essentially. So that was a good form factor, right? Because it's lighter than my laptop. And what I am mostly doing is I'm consuming, right? But then, as a developer, I do a lot of inputting. So the tablet is not really a good device for inputting. So I mean, my tablet is right here, actually charging right next to me. So it's not like it's collecting dust in a drawer. I do have it available. It's just I don't really think about using it much because it's literally between my Mac laptop and my Linux desktop. So the other two devices just, get more users.
I mean, I identify with that completely. I never think to reach for a tablet really as far as daily use is concerned. Like I just have very little need for it.
I will say it depends on your context or your use case. So
for sure.
So I hadn't been, of course, with the pandemic, and we're at home, and I'm in front of my desktop like we all are, in front of the TV, right? But ever since I got the new tablet, which is charging right behind me, I've been reading at night, just basically using it as a Kindle device, which is no big deal. But, a couple of weeks ago, I was out in LA, I went to a wedding. And so I was like, I threw the tablet in my bag, and sure enough, I found myself waiting in the terminal to board the plane. Let me open it up and watch a movie. right? Much better, much easier experience than opening up my unfortunately far too large laptop that work gave me. They gave me one of those big extra large MacBook Pros that I feel like I'm like setting up a drive-in movie theater if I'm watching anything in the airport on that. Right. But I actually found myself having the tablet be, really useful back before the pandemic, when I was way more active in, going out and playing pinball competitively. Whenever there's a tournament, all the tournament software runs is web-based, and people run tournaments. We have tablets. We're sitting there with tablets, because it's a better experience, because you need a little more information than a phone display can, or you don't want the clunky laptop or that sort of thing. So it's just like a tablet is a very specific, unique niche use case, and like the larger tablets with the styluses and for artists and for drawing and stuff like that, the iPad Pros of the world, and like the larger Android tablets. But like, it is not like, as tablets evolve, I'm fascinated about how they came out as like a one size fits all device. And now you're starting to see like, this tablet's great if you travel a lot for work and you want a productivity device, or you want an entertainment device, or you need to entertain your kids, or that sort of thing. Like the kids use case, the foam wrapped, Kindle Fire tablets for kids. How many people depend on those, right? So I don't know. I think tablets are interesting in that as they've developed, it's like specific needle use cases that not everybody, like you might not know another person has the same use case you have for the tablet. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's true. I mean, in my case, like I have no personal use necessarily on a daily basis for a tablet, but my kids both have tablets and they use them all the time. In fact, they wish they were using them more than they are. So it really does depend. Yeah, it's total use case.
Yeah, for me, it goes the other way. Actually, my mother loves her tablet because it was interesting because I think it goes on to a little bit touch on accessibility, actually. So she actually has difficulty pushing an optical mouse and moving the cursor. Like for some reason, like that coordination, it just never clicked.
Interesting.
So for her, like the tablet is actually great because it's touch screen. So it's very obvious. Like if she want to click on this button, she put her finger on that button and bam, it happens. Versus when she was pushing the mouse around, she had a lot of difficulty just kind of calibrating her hand to the cursor on the screen. And she uses her tablet as a productivity device, right? When she wants to book a flight or hotel room, that's what she uses because it's way better experience than on the phone for her. For her to be able to look at like a big grid of all the different options and selecting. So yeah, it has a lot of good use cases. And I think Ron's right. I mean, like if you have kind of more specific catering, it could go a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
totally
tablets.
agree.
I'm pro tablets. Bring it on. Tablet for everybody. Find your use case for a tablet. Jason, chiu-ki, you guys will find your use case for it someday. I think everybody could benefit from a tablet. So
Google, bring back the Nexus 7. Call it the Pixels. No, don't call it the Pixel 7. That's going to be next year. That's going to be a phone, not a tablet.
No.
That naming convention's not going to work.
No, please don't confuse us, please.
No.
Although let's not put it past Google to confuse us in a year with names. So
Right.
Yes, right, exactly. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll see a Pixel tablet coming up, because buckle up, because this has been the week where if there was anything we didn't know about the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro, we pretty much know it now. Leaks galore. This always happens. And I mean, we're less than a week away from the event at this point, so it's no surprise whatsoever. And most of what has leaked seems to have been the result of Carphone Warehouse overseas, a posting by Carphone Warehouse that just spilled so many of the beans everywhere. And I'm thinking I'm not going to list every single thing here because there's just so much. But what are the highlights? Definitely fast charging improvements over last year. 30 watts up from 18 watts on the Pixel 6 USB-C. The Pixel Stand is going to be 21 watt wireless charging, so that's faster. Tensor performance gains of 80%. But that was compared, I thought that was interesting, that was compared to the Pixel 5, which the Pixel 5 had a decidedly mid-range processor in there. So how does it compare to other premium devices out on the market? That time will tell as far as that's concerned. Doesn't sound like the fabric cases are coming this time. It's going to be a plastic case this time that's made with like recycled plastics or something like that. This was all Carphone Warehouse via EvLeaks, by the way. So this is interesting. And maybe we've mentioned this on the show. Magic Eraser is a feature that's coming to the Pixel Photo or the Pixel Camera app, which is essentially, from what I can tell, the fence removal feature that we've been ribbing Google on for years since introducing that at Google I/O and then never delivering on it. Apparently, it's going to be a feature in the Pixel Camera app. And the example that they have is it shows a couple on a staircase with a few people in the background, and then with the magic eraser, those people in the background suddenly disappear. They've been erased as if by magic. They're no longer there, and you would never know. It's just clouds. Also shows some examples of the face to blur feature, which looks pretty great. So looking there, you can see down in the bottom left corner the picture of the woman. I don't know if that's I don't know what's behind her, multicolor thing or whatever, but you can kind of see her face is a little blurry in the first one, and then it's sharpened in the second one. We'll see how that works out once it's released, of course. What else? I mean, At a Glance is getting an update. That's kind of minor, but that's the weather time thing on a Pixel launcher on the front home screen. It's going to be more than that. So, like, if you've got a flight that you're checking in for, it will, bring through your flight details. It'll give you a QR code that you can click on to pull up your card, your check-in card or whatever. So that sounds like that's being built out. But probably the most interesting thing, and I did just add this, Burke, so apologies because this was a late link that I put in there, also via Carphone Warehouse. The Pixel 6 should receive, according to these details, 5 years of updates. So I think...
Told you.
I think as far as that's concerned, this is Google upping the ante by 1 year based, over what it was doing and now what Samsung and others in the space are doing. And like you said, yeah, Ron, I tweeted this out. This is what Google needs to do. It is Google's responsibility to set the precedent for this sort of thing. And so I'm super happy to see that. I don't know what 5 years of updates actually means. It could be 3 years of major OS updates and 2 years of security. It could be 4 years of major updates. That's what I hope. And a year of security. But I guess, yeah, that remains to be seen. That seems like a big deal to me, that I could get a phone and an Android phone, and 5 years later it's still running up-to-date software. Crossing fingers on that. How does that strike you, Chiu-ki? Are you at all excited? Actually, I needed to ask this of you. What is your phone now, and are you excited about the Pixel 6 leaks and stuff that we're hearing about?
That's interesting, because as an Android developer, people expect me to be really excited about new hardware.
Yeah.
I'm running a Pixel 2. I don't even know what I'm running. Yeah, Pixel 2. And it's fine. I usually, like my daily driver, I usually use something really stable, and I use it until it breaks, basically. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. New phones usually, well, it depends. I think there was one time when I was really very excited about the new phone, but that's because my old phone has a cracked screen. Like, I cracked it in September, and I knew that the Christmas, I call them the Christmas present phones. You know how, like, usually end of year there's like a new set of phones that will come out, and I was just I can't wait for the new one to launch, because there's no way I'm buying a phone in September. So I did buy the newest top of the line, because I literally like dropped it and like screen down, and it just had like a giant crack in the middle. And I held on to it for a month, because I was like, there is no way I'll buy a phone in September. That's just wrong. But yeah, no. Otherwise, I don't get too excited about the latest. And I get excited about the silliest thing, like my Pixel 2. I was so excited because it has the audio jack. I didn't have to like use the adapter to change back from USB-C to the headphones, and I got excited about that. Right? It's not. It's not something that people expect me as an Android developer to be excited about. But hey, it's practical. It's good to be able to charge my phone and listen to music at the same time.
I respect that immensely because I'm so entrenched in the realm of, I mean, obviously, like we do Android podcasts, I cover technology for Twit. So I'm so deeply entrenched in this like routine of new phones all the time that I wish that there's a part of me that wishes that I could do what you do, Chiu-ki, that I could just get a phone and that's just my phone. For the next 3 to 4 years, that's my phone. I don't have to like reset up the home screen. I don't have to I could just, it is what it is and it's going to last,
Well, I will say two things there. One is that's what I've been doing for recent years, right? Like I'm like, this is the one and I'm riding with it. And like, even when I get phones in for review, I don't keep them as daily drivers. I put them on a side and I kind of contain that experience. But Jason, with the Google setup system now, your home screen is the same every time you set up a new phone. It could be, my last 3 phones, I haven't had to reset up my home screen. It's like, oh, here's my phone. It's a new one. So it's blurring the lines. That's for sure. Yeah. So.
Definitely improved. But to not have to do that even, Yeah.
I know.
I set up a lot of phones every year. I mean, and no question, that makes it a lot easier that it remembers these things and everything. I still have to log into a lot of the apps and I don't know. There's something to be said about like the weathered, multi-year phone that just is what it's been. It's just a stable. It's what you expect to be in all the places that you put them. And when you're switching phone after phone after phone, things just change. Different manufacturers do things differently. I have to remember to look over here in settings instead of over there. And sometimes I just want the normalcy. So I think of 5 years of updates, that's good. I'm amazed that your Pixel 2 is still roaring at this point. That released in 2017. So if we were to apply the update schedule of the Pixel 6 to that phone,
you know what?
You what's that?
It is not a Pixel 2. That was my previous phone. I just remember. This is a oh no, I got so many letters. Pixel 4a 5G.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. That was my previous.
I was like,
sorry.
wow, that device is still rocking. That's crazy.
I care about this so little that I don't even remember what it is. Yeah. No, the Pixel 2 is still actually plugged in and charging.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes I use it to, it's the silliest thing. Like, I use it to test like GPS drift. Like, I want to know like how much of the concrete like part of my house actually it has accurate GPS. So I like leave it there and see like where it think it was. So yeah. So I have it plugged in. So like it's still like fresh on my mind. But no. That
4A 5G definitely
information. Yeah.
A more current.
No. And I got it again. I was literally like, okay, Thanksgiving's coming. There will be deals. There will be deals, and indeed there was a deal. Actually, you know what? I think Stacy was on the show last week. Wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Yes,
she was. Yeah.
She sent me the deal because like I was making noises about like I need a new phone. I know it's like this is the set of like offerings, but I don't really like it. And then she's like 2 days later, tell me it's like this one you would like because it's like she knows that I like small phones and like I want specific things. And then I was like, yes, exactly. This is exactly the price.
You got your headphone port.
Yeah. Like the exact like specs I want. I was like, yes, thank you. So that Like now I remember. Yeah, it was not the Pixel 2. That was the phone that is still in use, but not my daily driver.
Not your daily driver. I was super impressed. I was like, man, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And rounding this out just real quick, some random person on the internet that everyone seemed to like be pointing to, going, oh, maybe this person knows what they're talking about, alluding to the fact that we might actually still see a Pixel Foldable mention. We made a watch and Nest speaker and blah, 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 which I'm like, yeah, right. I don't think that's going to happen. But hey, anything's possible.
I still firmly believe we're going to see the Foldable next week. That's my prediction. So I think all the speculation and all the leaks and all the stuff we said all pointed to there being a Pixel Foldable, and whether or not it's rolled out at the same time as the Pixel 6, or is the one more thing, or is a tease for closer to the holidays or whatnot. I think it's going to happen. So
well. We're just going to have to wait and find out. I should mention that Leo and I will be on during the event next Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific, I believe, is the Google event. So twit.tv/live, if you go to our live stream, you can either choose to watch just the event on your own, or you could watch our feed, which is basically us talking, throughout the event and sharing our insights on it. So that's next Tuesday, October 19th. All right, Ron, you got the last one.
It's going to be a great week, Jason. You're going to be so tired on Thursday. All right.
I will be. You're right.
So previously in this episode, we talked about Google TV. And yet here we are again, as we promised you in hardware, talking about Google TV. Google TV debuted 1 year ago on the Chromecast with Google TV. And 1 year later, we finally have another Google TV device hitting the store shelves. Finally, a year later. The Realme 4K streaming stick debuted in India first. And it launches tomorrow, October 13th. And it offers HDR10+, 4K, 60 FPS support, HDMI 2.1, and the price is currently unknown. So here you go. You got another option for Google TV with Chromecast via this Realme 4K stick. It's always good to have more in the marketplace. So,
and who knows if we'll see it here? I couldn't tell from these articles whether it was actually, whether it was just launching in India only, or if it was starting in India and rolling out. But at the very least, maybe this shows that there's signs that Google TV actually has ambitions to be on more than just one device in the world. So one can hope. That's what I'm hoping for, anyways. We need more of that Google TV.
Yep. All right. Well, let's take a break and thank our next sponsor. And I'm very excited to tell you that this episode of All About Android is brought to you by our fine friends at Udacity. Udacity offers you an online education program that is geared toward people looking to take their tech knowledge to the next level. Udacity is specialized in exciting content that can help take you further in the career you want. And they offer the latest cutting-edge nano degree programs you can't find anywhere else. Udacity is here to encourage your career growth. They want to provide you with the information about the career you want, give you the skills for that career, and then help you get the job. And here are a few of the Udacity success stories. Jobin said, Udacity armed me with skills to develop models and gave me an innovative experience with quick, high-quality, recurring feedback. Aaron says, Udacity's nano degree programs and Career Resource Center played an integral part in helping me land a job offer from Google. So check out one of Udacity's top 5 nano degree programs: data engineering, product manager, data analyst, data scientist, and programming for data science with Python. If you're looking to get into the most cutting edge technology careers, you can get nano degree programs in AI, flying car on autonomous flight engineer, intro to self-driving cars, machine learning engineer, robotic software engineer, and more. Udacity's courses are created with partners and industry leaders in Microsoft, Google, IBM, AWS, and more. The best part is that they select team leads at top companies to be the instructors. You're going to get the right knowledge from the experts who are working in that field every day. And when signing up for a nano degree program with Udacity, you can expect courses to be project-based with active learning that lets you test your knowledge, homework and projects that will be reviewed by qualified professionals, real human feedback and reviews with access to mentors 24/7, and best of all, flexible schedules where you choose what works for you. Whether it's 5 to 10 hours a week, it's at your own pace, and you can graduate in as little as 3 months. If your team needs to master cutting-edge technologies like data science, AI, and cybersecurity, Udacity for Enterprise can upskill your entire workforce with real-world project-based learning. Check out the Enterprise section of Udacity's website today to learn more. So get the in-demand tech skills you need to advance your career. Visit udacity.com/twit and get 75% off any program with code TWIT75. Limited time offer. That's udacity.com/twit and enter TWIT75. And thank you, Udacity, for your support of the show and for making us smarter and better workers. Thanks, Udacity.
All right. Thank you, Udacity. Udacity.com/twit, TWIT75. All right. Time for some app news. Let's do it. Just a couple of items in here today, including, I think we talked about this weeks or months ago when it was first kind of being tested, how Chrome was going to be rolling out a Google Reader-ish thing feature, although nothing is a replacement for Google Reader, especially for people who are fans of Google Reader. But Google was testing a follow button for sites, which was similar to, it's subscribing to the RSS feed of a site by choosing to follow it. And that feature was being tested. Now it's available in the current stable build of Chrome 94. You just choose a site to follow. So if you go to like Engadget or whatever, up in the three-dot menu, there will be a little area that says Engadget follow. And if you tap that, their RSS updates are going to appear on Chrome's new tab page going forward. So it's not quite the same as Google Reader, but it is a way to follow the RSS of some of the sites that you follow. For Reader fans, it could be just too little, too late. And to that, I have to ask you, Chiu-ki, if you were a Reader fan. I used it a little bit, but it wasn't one of those. It wasn't one of the like marquee, like, oh no, Google just pulled the rug out from under me the way it was for other people. Were you a Google Reader user, and how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I used to have my own set of feeds that I read through Google Reader. And then when Google Reader disappeared, I think I transitioned to something that is similar. But then I feel like the world moved on. And I've been then slowly getting more and more of my news from Twitter, essentially. So instead of following specific blogs and getting the RSS feed, I'm following their Twitter account and seeing the article that way instead. So I guess in that sense, right now, if I were to try to take advantage of this new feature in Chrome, I wouldn't even know what RSS feed I would like to add there. Though that's interesting. That's another, I guess it's split. So like there are things that I wish I would have a decent RSS feeder for. And that's like, for example, like the BBC News, that kind of information. And instead, what I have is I actually subscribe to the BBC newsletter, and I get one email every day at 7 p.m. sharp, like Colorado time. And I know when I get a notification at 7 p.m., I know it's the BBC News.
You know what it is.
I read it and I delete it. Like that's my habit. That I have a sense of world news, because I think what so far I have curated on my Twitter feed is very US centric. So I want to have that. So maybe I will follow the RSS feed on the BBC News. But the nice thing about that is that it's literally, I know there will be 3 sections. There will be kind of the top news, and then the secondary news, and then the sports news. So I know exactly how much time I will be skimming. So I usually just read the headlines and then maybe read one full article, versus the thing about Twitter and RSS feed is a feed. It is endless. You can just keep going, which I think my consumption pattern has changed, that I actually like that boxed experience. I know that this is one email that I'll get every day. I literally read and delete. Like I don't keep them. So that's if I miss the one the day before, I don't go back and read it. I just want to know what's happening today. That's it.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because it's like, it's so funny because like everyone was heralding this is the return of Google Reader, and I knew it wasn't going to be. And Chiu-ki, you make a great point. Like I have the Google News app, which I love, as well as we have whatever Google Now has become, like the swipe from the left side type thing. And I swear to God, that thing throws notifications at me on a regular basis of like, I don't even need to choose to follow based off, it's 90% of the time accurate based off my searches and based off the stuff that I'm interested in. Google knows what I want to find out about news about, and it's pushing those notifications to me. So I don't feel the need to follow anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we've evolved past quote unquote following. Like it's become push, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of similar to where you're at, Chiu-ki. I get a lot of my news through Twitter. That seems to be, and actually, I actually do use the Google the Google News app as well. Yeah. To kind of supplement it, jump in there, and I feel like it does a pretty good job of showing me kind of highlights of what I really need to know. I know exactly what you mean as far as like keeping in that boxed experience versus the endless constant thing. It's like I've done a lot of work in the past couple of years of trying to limit my own personal exposure to the endless scroll, because I know, as with everybody, it's really easy to get locked into that and you never pull yourself away. And then suddenly it's an hour later and I don't feel good about how I spent the last hour because I've just fallen into that usage pattern. And so having that boxed experience can actually be really great for that. It's like, okay, I've reached the end of this. That was my news time. Moving on with my life. Yeah. All right, Ron, you got the next one.
I do have the next one, and this is exciting, and I hope not to upset our listeners. Android 12 beta users are now starting to get access to a new assistant feature called Quick Phrases. You can look for it in the assistant settings, and it currently supports alarms and timers and incoming calls. And when activated on those instances, you won't need to say the wake word, "Hey G," before following with stop or snooze or answer or decline. You can just say the word and Google will know what you want.
Stop.
Which is, I feel like is going to be, potential for disaster, but we'll see how it goes. And there are plans to allow you to skip Hey G for a longer list of commands on the Google Home speakers. And some include, like, there's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole list here. Some of my favorites are send a broadcast. You can also turn the lights on or turn the lights off, which I do often.
Nice one.
Turn up the volume, turn down the volume. Like, basically it's that conversational thing where Google is assuming it knows the context, like one, skip this song to skip a music track. But there's also like reset the timer, how much time is left, because it knows that you're using the device in this way. And so it's anticipating that when you say those words, you're talking to it. God knows what's going to happen when you have music playing on your device and your partner says, turn the volume down, and you go and you want to say, no, I want it louder, but Google's going to listen to your partner and turn it down. Like, how does it know when it's being talked to? That's my question. Yeah. Hey, is it getting dark? Should we turn the lights on? I turned on the lights. Well, no, I didn't ask you to turn the lights on. We were it was a question. It's going to be interesting.
Google.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So
it wasn't a command. My Google Home speakers already do the not needing Hey G for things like turning off timers and stuff. So this seems to be an expansion of that. I've been using that for, I don't know, more than a year at least. Yep. Have you noticed that? I don't know if you have a Google Home device in your house, chiu-ki, but I mean, on our devices, if I set like a timer in the kitchen and it starts beeping at me with the Google Home, I just say stop. I don't say, hey, G, stop. I just say stop and it stops. And I don't know when they rolled that out. So this seems to be kind of an extension of that. Do you have any of these devices in your home?
I'm muting because it's raining really hard outside. And there was like thunder with like that went through. So I'm like,
I'm so jealous. I wish it was raining here.
On your show. It's interesting. The Google Home that I have, which I got through different events, I didn't buy it. I don't really use it. And I only use it when I'm cooking and I want to listen to a podcast at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't interact with it that much, and it's sometimes it's frustrating because when I'm cooking and I want to listen to some music, and then I will ask it to get to the next song or things like that. I don't know. Maybe I don't use it enough. It's always quite confusing when I listen to a podcast and I want the latest episode. It never knows that I want the latest episode, and it always brings up that episode I listened to 3 months ago, and it's like, this is where you left off. I'm like, well, it's the NPL Politics podcast. I don't want to listen to the one from 3 months ago. Can you just clear it out? Can I just expire my podcast?
Or play the latest episode or something. Yeah.
But I do have to remember to say that. And if I forget and I kind of do a chaser and you say play the latest episode, I'm never sure whether I actually know the context of it's the latest episode of whatever podcast that you're currently playing me. So maybe I should try that and see. Maybe it has developed more context as things go through. Because I remember when sort of a long time ago, but I, for some reason, want to know how to say cheese in German. So I asked Google, and then they told me it's case. And I asked Google, how do you spell that? And then Google said, THAT. I'm like, very funny, Google, very funny. But yeah, so hopefully by now it has learned more context.
Yeah, for sure. For sure it has. I mean, if that was a couple of years ago, that's been some of Google's announcements around Assistant and on the home devices for the last couple of years, is that they're really honing it in so that it understands the context to know that when you say, how do you spell that, you're actually referring to the word you just asked for initially, not the word that. So I guarantee you it's
particular interaction again, just to see.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if it figured it out. I would guess that it probably would. I've noticed a definite improvement as far as that stuff is concerned. But still, at the end of the day, it comes down to syntax, and sometimes the syntax isn't right. Sometimes the syntax, you get it right, and it still just comes back with something that's totally baffling, like that thing you posted to our WhatsApp not too long ago, Ron, where you're specifically asking for this song from this album.
Can we show it? I feel, I don't know. I want to be so hang on, Burke. I'm going to give you the link. I posted it to Twitter. You can see it on there and we can run the video. I don't know if you can play audio or not, Burke, but yeah, I threw it into the doc. So basically everybody knows my problem with Google, with the Nest Home Hub and YouTube Music lately. And I ran into a situation that just had me cracking up, which was my kids. And I don't know if you want to play the video, Burke, and play the audio. I don't know if we can for everybody to hear it, but yeah.
Yeah. Apologies on the Hey G that'll come through.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. But yeah.
No, it's fine.
All right. Play the song Skidamarink by Andy and Susanna.
Tonight by Andy Williams. Sure. Playing on YouTube Music.
What? It gets better. Play the song Skidamarink by Andy and Susanna on YouTube Music.
What's Up by Four Non-Blondes. Sure. Playing on YouTube Music.
Oh, that is so frustrating.
So I was literally.
By Andy and
So I was literally, as you can hear me, I was literally asking to play a kid's song called Skidamarink by a musician group called Andy and Susanna that I know is on YouTube Music because I'm subscribed to them on YouTube Music, and I play the album for my kids all the time. And I sat there for a half an hour asking it over and over again, and it either gave me Andy Williams songs or random 80s and 90s songs that had none of the words that were asked for it. And I went back and forth with Google, the Made by Google Twitter account on this. And I was like, no, you're not, because they linked me to the previous time I complained about YouTube Music on Google, and well, you need to do all that stuff. I'm like, no, something's broken here. And other people on Twitter were saying they were seeing similar things where it clearly, I'm speaking clearly, and it is coming up with something completely different. And I never got an answer why, and it's still happening. So,
and what's weird is when you watch that video, you see it spells out, how when you use your voice command, it spells out.
It heard what I said. It
heard exactly what you said.
Yes.
So it's not even like it misheard you. It heard, it translated it, and then it's almost like those visual they're like designs that can throw off facial recognition systems. It's just like the pixels in just the right place to make it, even though it looks like fuzz to us, it comes up with Lionel Richie or something. It's kind of like that, but for Google Home devices, it's so weird. I don't understand.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
In a way, it makes me feel slightly better that it's not that I'm talking wrong to Google, right?
Right.
It's that they have their own idea of what people mean.
Yeah, or there's something going on there. I've totally experienced that too, where I'm like, that's not at all what I asked for, and why? There's no way for me to say this any clearer than I am. Yep. I guarantee you, it's interpreting it correctly. Right. It's just firing off the wrong command as a result.
And it seems like something's wrong. And here's the problem with support is they don't listen. they have a script where they're like, "Oh, are you sure do you have a subscription to YouTube Music? Are you sure you're using the right account?" It's like, I don't know how to be like, "Yeah, I'm in the know." Like, I don't want to be like, "Do you know who I am?" But do you know who I am? And like, it's just like,
oh boy, that's so frustrating. Totally.
Yeah, it is. So I'm convinced. I am adamant about getting it solved. I will go all the way up to Hiroshi or Sundar if I need to. Like, I want to get this because I know that there's a problem. But so whatever, we'll find it. Someday.
Yeah. This one's real quick. This one just appealed to me. Google search now has the ability to offer up a guitar tuner if you want one. So the good news is if you Google tuner, it'll bring back a guitar tuner in search. The reason that I bring this up even is because I've done this a million times. Like, oh, I just need a quick guitar tuner. I need to tune my guitar, and I don't want to like unlock my phone and like, use an app or whatever. It's just easier because I have the browser open, whatever the situation is. So if you type in Google tuner, it's embedded in the search results. That's great. But it kind of sucks because like, I would never think to Google tuner. I would think go away, Google. I would think to Google guitar tuner or instrument tuner or something. And if you do those, it doesn't come up. So it's like I have to remember, going back to syntax, I have to remember the specific syntax to get this thing. But it's a great start, at least, I guess. So nice to have it. All right. That one was just for me and a few of you out there anyways. Coming up next, your email. AAA@twit.tv is the place to write to us if you want your email in this particular block of the show each and every week. Like Rick. Rick wrote in and said, I've been watching the ongoing discussion about Android tablets. The last one I used was the Nexus 7. I am a Chromebook user and utilize my important Android apps. I purchased the Lenovo Duet Chromebook and used it as my tablet. It had many features for the price, but when I opened more than 3 to 4 tabs in Chrome, the performance slowed badly, so I kept tabs low. Then a couple of weeks ago, HP released the HP X2 Chromebook, which uses the 7C Qualcomm system on a chip. Best Buy had them on sale. It is much faster, more powerful than the Duet, plus it comes with a stylus and a stand/keyboard combo like the Duet. I use the X2 as my tablet, viewing YouTube, reading email, playing casual games, and reading books. Thank you, Rick, for sharing that with us, because this is just the topic that doesn't die. We've been talking about this stuff for the last couple of months now. Everybody has some ideas on tablets and Chrome OS as a tablet form factor and everything. So
I still want to get when I have $200 laying around. I want to get that Duet. I just want to try it. I just want to see what it's like, even if I have somebody to give it to, like after I use it. But still, yeah, I love the tablet conversation. Tablet love.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see. The HP X2, how much? It says, I'm trying to figure out what the price is on this real quick. Looks like this is, come on, Verge, don't let me down. Oh, $649. Okay, this is not an inexpensive Chrome OS tablet book.
This is not cheap at all. So yeah.
This is not in the cheap category. This is not at all. But thank you, Rick. Thank you for sending that in.
Cool. All right. Well, continuing on the tablet parade, Isaac writes in and says, just want to say thank you for your reviews and insight on the tablet you bought. My wife and I recently decided to start learning Spanish via Rosetta Stone, and she mentioned possibly using our phones or laptops to accomplish this. I didn't like the sound of either option, but then it hit me. I had heard you talking about your Lenovo Tab P11 Pro purchase and how much you liked. Well, there you go. I can't escape myself. And how much you liked it. That led me to buying the Lenovo Tab P11, and I'm really loving it. Mainly using it to learn Spanish and study for Azure certifications while my wife watches TV or we're driving to see family. Been looking into comics, but haven't taken that leap yet since I'm still a fan of physical comics. Haven't had any issues with it overall and really happy with the purchase, which I owe to you. Thanks again, Ron, and the All About Android crew. Keep up the hard work. It's much appreciated. And Isaac, you are absolutely welcome. And if you're curious about reading comics on the tablet, it's delightful. The screen is bright. The colors are vibrant. Check out Marvel Unlimited. Download that. Check out all your great Marvel comics on there. You'll be happy that you did it. But yeah, Lenovo Tab P11 is charging right behind me. It's fantastic. It's a workhorse. So.
There it is. It's on the couch. I can see it.
Yep.
It's just waiting to be used. And finally, we have our email of the week. There we go.
There it is.
The horn players were confused. They were like, do we play now? No, let's not play. Okay, yeah, we'll play. Thank you, Burke. Stealth Dave wrote in to say, I've been using my OnePlus 6T phone for 3 years now. I've been very happy with battery life, performance, almost everything, except for the in-screen fingerprint reader. Since I purchased it, the performance of the 6T's fingerprint reader has always been slow, and accuracy has ranged from good enough to pretty crappy, leaning frustratingly towards the latter. Compare that to my previous Nexus 6P, where the reader was fast and accurate, and it makes me long for a capacitive fingerprint reader again. Then along comes the soon-to-be announced Pixel 6, which looks to be a great phone with an in-screen fingerprint reader. The OnePlus 6T had a first-generation in-screen reader, and my question is, have successive generations of in-screen readers improved enough that they are not only faster and more accurate, but they are a reasonable replacement for a capacitive fingerprint reader? I know that we don't have the Pixel 6 in hand yet, but is the state-of-the-art in-screen reader finally ready to replace, or at least hold its own against the venerable capacitive reader? Great question, Dave. I've used a lot of these readers, both the capacitive ones and the touch-based ones behind the displays. And I'm of the opinion that they've definitely improved a lot in the past 2 to 3 years. When you're talking about in-display fingerprint sensors, they have. I still have a preference for the hardware one. If it's a rear-facing fingerprint sensor, I do believe that they are just more accurate, faster response. The tactile aspect of the fact that, like, if I'm pulling my phone out of my pocket, I know where the fingerprint reader is and I can go right to it instead of having to like pull it out and find the touch point and do it, by sight. So there's definitely disadvantages with the in-display fingerprint sensor in my experience, but I think the accuracy has improved. You also kind of, can do little tricks and stuff, like if you have one finger that you use all the time and you just want to be really sure that it's going to work, you could learn that finger a couple of times instead of just one time. And that can, you can kind of see some improvements doing that. I think you'll be, well, we don't know because we don't have the Pixel 6 in hand yet. But if it's any indication, compared to other phones out there that are doing the in-display fingerprint sensor, I think it's probably going to be fine. You might still prefer what you used to have though, but it's kind of the trend. I don't know what to tell you. It seems to be the trend. What do you both think? I know chiu-ki on the 4A 5G. That's the rear-facing fingerprint sensor still, right? That's not in display. Like, what do you prefer?
It works. It's good. I like you said, I know exactly where it is, and I only use one particular finger. Like, I don't really know why it asked me to train for it, because if I hold my phone like this is the finger that's available to put there. I don't know why would I put my pinky in there. That doesn't make any sense. So, and right now, actually, because I'm still staying at home most of the time, I actually have my phone, the smart lock, so that it doesn't even lock when I'm at home. So I haven't really even used that feature that often, to be completely honest. But yeah, I like the fact that it's exactly where I expect it to be, and I don't need to do anything special when I'm outside. Just put my finger there and it unlocks. So yeah,
and it works. What about you, Ron?
I use it. I use it on the. I don't really think about it anymore. I don't have. I used to have the smart lock on the face, and then I used to have the smart lock on the location. But now I'm using the back of the phone finger reader. When I had the OnePlus phone, I did like the in-screen one a lot. Actually, remember it had that cool kind of glowy feature and all that sort of stuff. I liked it. I didn't have as many problems with it or any issues with it, so I have no complaints about it. But I do remember liking the little glowy thing. My kids liked it too. So
yeah. And I have in general had really good luck with the in-display fingerprint sensors on the OnePlus devices. I can't remember back to the 6T to remember how, and like compare that to OnePlus in-display sensors now versus then. I don't know how they've improved over time, but I have felt like the OnePlus sensors have been really responsive when compared to even to like Samsung, which Samsung uses a different type of fingerprint sensor. And, you know, it was supposed to be more, you know, faster, better and everything. And I just don't like the Samsung implementation at all. So actually I've had good luck with OnePluses. I'm curious to know what it ends up being on the Pixel 6. Scooter X points out in the chat, and I did read this earlier, that some of the leaks are showing that the Pixel 6 will have face recognition as well. The downside to that is that it's not going to have the extra hardware that the Pixel 4 XL had with the radar, the Soli radar that enhanced the face recognition. I actually really liked the face recognition on the 4 XL a lot. And then we all started wearing masks, and that became less of a usable feature. But if it's just using the camera on the 6, that's just less. I mean, from a security standpoint, it's less effective. It might still, you know, keep someone out because their face is not your face, but it might not be able to determine whether it's looking at a photo versus a real person. And that's something that the Pixel 4 XL could do. But yeah, we shall see. It all remains to be seen. Thank you for writing in, Stealth Dave. Appreciate it. You are the email of the week, and you should be dang proud. All right, we reached the end of this episode of All About Android. Always a good time, and so great to have you back, Chiu-ki-chan. Really appreciate you taking time on this rainy evening to hang out with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You bet. I'm kind of jealous, actually. I kind of wish it was raining outside my window right now. I think I'm ready. I'm ready for rainy season. So that's going to turn into snow, though, pretty soon for you, right?
Yeah. I'm going to have a freeze Thursday, so coming soon.
Nice. It really is that time of the year. So this is your opportunity to plug whatever you would like, whatever you have going on. I know 360 and Dev, .com is one place that people can go. What do you want people to know about what you're up to?
Yeah, 360 NDEV is the main thing right now, which happened in July. So it's the annual conference that I run, which was in person in Denver until the pandemic. So the previous year and this year we had it virtual. Well, we'll see what happens next year. But still, I think it's a good time for people to just get together. It's a small conference, which means that you actually get to really interact with the speakers, and you get to dive as deep as you want. So 360ndev.com is where you can get more information.
Awesome. Cool. And at chiu-ki on Twitter. Thank you again, right. Chiu-ki. Always a pleasure. We'll have you back soon. Appreciate it. Ron, what do you want to leave people with?
Well, if you want more adventures in Google Assistant and YouTube Music, you can follow me on Twitter at RonXO, where I'll be posting my humorous search result videos. Also on Instagram at RonXO. And if you dig pinball, go check out Scorebit. Scorebit in the Google Play Store for Android. Keep track of your pinball scores, or go to scorebit.io and get a device to connect your pinball machine to the internet. It's the new awesomeness. We just rolled out achievements. Now the new Guns N' Roses pinball game from Jersey Jack Pinball supports it. So if you know what I'm talking about, and go do it. So thank you to everybody.
Right on, Ron. Good work. Thank you. And big thanks to Burke behind the scenes for all the button pushing. He just pushed a button right there that went from Ron's video to my video. See?
Whoa.
That's how much of a pro he is.
He does.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Look at that. Yeah.
He knows what he's doing on the TriCaster. Also, big thanks to Victor, who is right about to edit in some funny sound effect right now. Yeah, did you hear that? Yeah, that's Victor's work. I just gave Victor some extra work. I'm sorry, Victor. But I'm curious to know what you come up with for that point of the video. Let's see here. What's going on in my world? Tech News Weekly, of course, twit.tv/TNW. Like I said earlier, next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to be with Leo, and we're going to be doing live coverage of the Pixel event. So twit.tv/live, 10 a.m. next Tuesday, October 19th. Doing that off my head. I can't remember if that's the actual date, but I think it is. Club Twit, by the way, it's our ad-free subscription tier. So if you want all our shows with no ads, you can get them. It's totally possible. Twit.tv/clubtwit. You get no ads in our shows. You get exclusive Twit Plus podcast feed, and Ant Pruitt is managing the all of the content that's going in different directions on this feed and for club members, and he's doing a great job. So we've got some really cool stuff coming up, and a members only Discord channel. It's $7 a month. twit.tv/clubtwit. Also, a reminder to help us with the year-end best of episode. I'm totally in that crunch point now where I'm realizing, oh no, by the end of this month, I've got to have a lot of that already picked. So I need moments. And I would appreciate your help with those moments. If there's anything that stood out for you from this year, the more information you have, the better. twit.tv/best of. That'll give me an indication as far as where to look to put together a best of that you want to watch. twit.tv/best of. But that's it for this week. We do this podcast every Tuesday evening. It publishes to the feeds later in the evening. Just go to twit.tv/AAA and you can subscribe to audio, video, jump out to YouTube, subscribe there. Whatever is your favorite way to get all about Android, it's all there. twit.tv/AAA. That's it for this time. We'll see you next week on All About Android. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
If you find yourself talking to those virtual assistants in your house quite often, or maybe you can make your light turn on and off with the touch of a button, well, Smart Tech Today is the show for you. Join Matthew Casanelli and myself, Micah Sargent, every week as we talk all about smart stuff and the fun that comes along with it.